Hey guys, it's Kat over here. I just want to post this video regarding what I posted earlier about Jeffree Star and my recent decision to distance myself, actually to disassociate myself completely from him and his makeup line altogether. And I think that it comes off very harsh, and I can understand why there would be a reaction, not just from my own fans, but from Jeffree's fans as well. And in no way is this video or my post meant to bash anybody. I'm just simply stating the truth. I'm stating the facts, and I think it's important for me that my fans and followers know where I stand with this, because uh, the way that Jeffree chooses to live his life and treat other people is not something that I personally agree with. So, being associated with somebody who does do the things that he does, it really makes me nervous, because I don't want my fans or followers to think that that's a good example of how we should be with each other and how we should treat, our the people who are in our lives or surrounding us. And I've been firsthand witness to a lot of things, which I know you guys already know. I mean, just the way he treats not only his fans, but just brands. And I think anybody that even intimidates him slightly, it's like a very easy trigger for him to just attack. I remember, seeing him go off on this rant and really commanding his followers to start attacking this other really much smaller brand who made lip glosses, not even lipsticks, because of some human error in labeling. I remember, I think like the brand had accidentally labeled something with carmine, and they had claimed to be vegan, and he just went off on this brand. How the injustice of that human error that was completely forgivable. And I remember thinking, wait, you're not even fucking vegan. I mean, I know you like to put that word onto your packaging so that you can like bring in the vegan bucks, but like you totally eat animal products, and not only that, but you like promote Mac and like tons of other L'Oreal, like all of the biggest makeup lines that like actually test on animals are like famous for being non-cruelty free. So why would you sit there and not just verbally attack, but just like bully a brand that shouldn't even be on your radar? I never really understood that. But anyways, I'd like to rewind to a very important detail of all of this, is that if you ask Jeffree how he made his makeup line, I'm sure the story will be something about how he's so self-created and all this stuff, which I think is kind of maybe how he wishes his approach to makeup was. But in reality, I can tell you how he started his makeup line. I can tell you because I was there, and it started in my living room at my house. And back when Jeffree was, I don't know, I think he was kind of not doing anything. And he came over and was hanging out. He wasn't doing anything as far as career-wise. And, he's kind of complaining or whining about some other brand that was doing really well at the time. And I just told him, man, like, I've always been the person who said, hey, why don't you have your own makeup line? I think I think Jeffree was creative. I think he's different. And I think he has his own style and aesthetic. And I always romanticized this aspect of Jeffree that I don't even know it actually exists or not, but just like the fact that he was this outsider, that he was different, and giving like his followers like a sense of belonging in a world where they might not, I don't know, where people tend to reject something that's so different. And I've always thought that was like something that he would strive for, but I don't necessarily think that that's the case anymore. So anyways, I think that was a big part of why I was wanting to help him out so much back then. But I went to such great lengths. I even hooked him up with a factory that was actually producing my Everlasting Liquid Lipstick formula, plus a lot of my eyeshadows at the time. And Judy was the name of the lady that was, the head honcho over there. And I basically got Jeffree a meeting over there, and to see if he could start his own makeup line. And even Judy told me after meeting with Jeffree, the only reason he even got that meeting was because I vouched for him. And there's been more times where I have vouched for Jeffree, and in hopes that he would do the right thing. And and in some cases it hasn't really worked out that way. And so I'm not looking for credit. I don't need him to give me a shout out every time he posts on Instagram, but like at least tell the truth, and just because I call you out on social media about being a bully doesn't mean, that that you can post a tweet that says, "Hey, Kat Von D has never supported me in my makeup line." When honestly, Jeffree, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be where you are now. I mean, as far as your makeup line goes, and I mean, maybe you would do it some other way, but you definitely wouldn't do it at the capacity that you have been, and I think that's important to understand, because I think it's very easy to paint somebody with his pathological ways, and I think him, he tends to exaggerate a lot of things and borderline lie about a lot of things, and that's something that I've learned over the years, spending a lot of one-on-one time with him. So the reason that I bring this up is because when I was helping him out with the creative process of making his own makeup line, there was a point that we reached where I told him, "Hey, look, I can help you with mood boards," which I did. I just can't do your artwork for you. That's something that I keep really exclusive to my makeup line. I think my own team would be very disappointed if I started drawing for somebody else's makeup line. So I said, "Hey, look, I'm not going to draw the artwork for your makeup line, but I have a guy who's really great, and I've used him for tons of projects. I mean, he is a lettering and logo specialist, and he's a really hardworking dude from Detroit. His name was BJ Betts, and so." If you guys look at any of my old videos, like my Muse of the Week or my Cat's Beauty Chat, all that lettering BJ did, and if you scroll down in the credits, you'll see his name, and I always credit him for the artwork and the lettering for all the openings for that. And that's because it's important. I think as an artist, we work super hard at creating something, and it really sucks when somebody just steals that and then just exploits it and doesn't give you any credit, let alone payment. And so what happened is that I introduced Jeffree to BJ, and then BJ drew up his logos, and then Jeffree went forward with them, and it's the logos that you guys see now on all of the caps of all of his lipsticks, and then never paid BJ. And BJ would call him, and basically Jeffree blocked his phone, and then so finally BJ called from a landline, and Jeffree answered, and then when he realized that it was BJ asking for payment, he hung up on him and blocked that number, and that's just what he does. So the minute that I found out about that, which was this last Saturday, I texted Jeffree and said, "Hey, Jeffree, can you explain to me why you haven't paid BJ?" And he basically told me to fuck off or to go fuck myself, and then blocked my number, and that's just how he does it. And then he blocks me on Instagram and blocks me on Twitter, so as if I even followed him anyway, just because I'm sorry, I know a lot of people love to follow him. For me, it's obnoxious to constantly promote what fancy car you're leasing or renting or whatever the fuck, I just think, trying to promote this lifestyle that your value is determined by, the brand of purse that you wear, or how big your house is, or how many cars you drive. I mean, again, that's something that I don't want to be in the same sentence with. I've gone my entire existence really trying to send such an opposite message, so why would I want to be associated with that? So anyways, I have here this drawing to show you what BJ had originally drawn for Jeffree. I mean, he drew him a bunch of logos. Hopefully you guys can see from my phone. But you can see different variations of the star. And then if you zoom in on this one in particular, where you see it was a J and then an S, and then you see this little circular thing around this side here. This was the preliminary sketch for the logo that Jeffree uses now, and as you could tell, it was a J and an S before, and BJ had said, this is what BJ wrote, Jeffree stressed that he wanted to have a Gucci or Chanel feel, so I told him that we could flip the S and possibly also mirror the J. I circled the bottom part to show him what I meant if you zoom in. So that's what he did. He didn't need me anymore after that. He had the artwork already. And that's when he just stopped calling him and obviously refused to pay him. So, I think as far as being an ethical company, it's really wrong what Jeffree's done. I think he needs to pay BJ. And I think that's the kind of behavior done by corporations that are heartless, that I see that happening all the time. I know it's happened to me, where it's that, people who aren't interested in you as an artist or interested in you as a dollar sign, or just how much they can take advantage of you. And that's not cool, man. I think, you can't sit there and post all these videos of you like get ready with me in my Rolls Royce, and then you can't like pay a guy who worked really hard for you. I mean, what kind of message does that send out to anybody and everybody? I think it's the wrong message, and I think as long as you have the option to do the right thing, why not do that? So that I think that was definitely a big line in the sand that Jeffree drew with me. I think instead of just blocking me, you could have just talked it out. And you know, people are like, "Why didn't you tag him in your photo that you posted?" It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna. Why? I of course I would have tagged him, but when somebody blocks you, you can't do that. And I think that a lot of people also were offended by the photo that I chose. You know what? Like that was the photo that was taken of Jeffree when I knew him. That was like the Jeffree that I knew. The Jeffree that he is now is like this monster, this big, like attention-seeking, fame-desiring, money-driven monster that I want no part in. And it's not to say that he doesn't have the opportunity to change. I think that everybody does. I mean, I'm a good example of that. I think, I didn't used to be as, I didn't have my shit together as much as I have now, but I think that takes time and practice. But, you got to practice that stuff. You got to unlearn the bad stuff. So, I don't know, I think the online bullying, like, it's easy to, you can go ahead and pick on all these other people that might be intimidated and won't say anything back. But Jeffree, I'm not scared of you. And also, like, if somebody was, picking on you the way that you pick on people, I would stand up for you too. And so I kindly ask you, Jeffree, which I'm sure you'll watch this because you love when anybody talks about you, all I ask is that you do the right thing. And just pay BJ. I mean, that's like, that's the least that you could do after all of this. And as far as the message that I would like to send out to my fans and my followers, other beauty brands, YouTubers, or anyone else that has had to experience any of the insensitivity and the negativity that Jeffree has spewed your way, I just want to apologize, because if I do regret anything, is I regret setting Jeffree up with that factory. I regret being a part of helping somebody become so self-absorbed when I could have probably, at least spoke up a lot sooner. And, and I do send Jeffree a lot of love. I hope that one day he can figure it out, and I'll be here if ever he wants to make amends with me, but definitely not holding my breath on that one. So, yeah, lastly, I just want to say to any of my fans and my followers, I don't want anybody to go after Jeffree. I don't want anybody to go and attack or start wars. I really don't have the time, nor do I care to start a war like that. If Jeffree wants to go on a crazy Snapchat, tweaker-like rant on Snapchat about me or about whatever he thinks about me, so be it. I don't need to hear about it. I don't care. Hopefully that doesn't happen. And yeah, and I think if anything, we can just like send positive vibes his way, and hopefully, he can make some changes in his life, that he's not just continuously hurting people around him. And again, I am so deeply sorry to anybody and everybody out there that's been in his crossfire. I know it's not a fun place to be. And overall, I guess that's it. Just want to send everybody extra love today. I think there's tons of more important things out there that we should be worrying about. And that's it. All right. Bye, guys.